Peace. What's good, y'all? It's Aja Y, aka Aja Yumela, aka anything I motherfucking wanna be. So, I've been saying that I'm just gonna make a YouTube channel for a while now. I have a couple of different topics to talk about, a couple of different channels on beauty, motherhood, and story time, just my experience, inspirational messages, shit like that. So today I have a story. I'm gonna tell you guys about the first time I did shrooms, aka magic mushrooms. Some call them shrooms, which I do. Some call them boomers, you know, whatever you may know them by. I'm sure you know them by now. In today's society, it's becoming a very popular thing to talk about. It's a very controversial subject, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, I'm a vet in this psychedelic shit, so I have a lot of experiences I could tell you guys about. But before I get started, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything. You have free will. You can do as you please. Just don't go around saying I influence you to do the shit. I'm gonna tell you about my experience, and that's all I can do. Okay, so first time I did them, I had just turned 18. It was back in 2014, and I did them with my dad. The mushrooms that I tried first were, you know what, they weren't even mushrooms, because I guess like people consider the mushrooms to be what grows, like the fungus that grows outwardly, so it's above the ground. I first tried truffles, and they are underground. You dig them from underground. So I don't know the name of them, but I can describe how they look. They were like gray, they were soft, and they had like rainbow sparkles on them. And so my dad had got them. It was like 10 at night or whatever, and he was doing his first little batch, and he wanted me to do it with him, but I had to go to work the next day, so I didn't want to take too much. So I took 2 grams. It was like roughly 2 grams, like 1.7 or something like that. So when I took them, first of all, the taste wasn't bad, because I've had other actual mushrooms, like the golden teachers, and I have to like chop those up just to be able to swallow them down, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not the worst, but it's not something like you want to actually taste. So I took my almost 2 grams, and in about 20 to 30 minutes I started feeling them. I was able to see, we were listening to music and we were smoking marijuana, and it's like a turbulent stage, it's like an inner stage where it's like, you know, you feel kind of like weird. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you feel kind of like you're going into a different dimension. So once I got to the shroom dimension, it was great. Like, my dad always plays like great ass music. He's like a music connoisseur, and he basically was just doing some bomb ass music, and that shit, like, it was so loud. We had like the big speakers, you know, so like I could see the sound waves like in the actual air. I was looking at my couch, and you know how like you might have lines through your couches or whatever, and it was like faces were smiling at me. I just felt great. And honestly, like, what I did is I could, like, I don't know, my hair was like statically, like it was like antennas. Like, I can feel my hair being connected like to everything that was around me and picking up everything. So I took a moment and I just closed my eyes. I was set up against the couch, and I leaned my head back, and so vividly my head back on the couch, I could first hear a waterfall, then I could visualize me being under the waterfall. And for me, sometimes visualization as an adult, well, at that time, visualization as an adult was kind of hard for me, just because I was so out of touch with myself. You know, it was hard for me to see myself in the third person in dreams during that time. and I was eating meat and everything part-time. Like, my dad has always been a vegan, but when my mom and dad got divorced, of course, like, I started living with both parents. So my mom's side would eat meat and my dad was vegan, so I was like half and half. And so when I got out of high school, like, I finally decided to be committed to veganism and let it all go. So during that time, I was actually detoxing as well. So when it came to dreams, I was smoking a lot during that time, so sometimes I wouldn't even like remember the dream, get to the dream, whatever you want to call it. So after I took them and I had that visualization, I was like, yeah, Dad, like, I'm gonna go ahead and go to sleep so I don't be tired for work in the morning or whatever. So when I went to sleep, the party did not motherfucking stop. So I went to sleep or whatever, and I wasn't thinking about anything in particular when I went to sleep, but I started what I was dreaming. It was like a cloudy area, you know, with those may consider heaven to be projected as it looked like. And well, from what they've been told, obviously. But I was definitely like in the sky, in the clouds, and I could see myself. I was looking at myself in the third person. And in front of me there was a podium, and I would step up to the podium and I would relive what some people consider like traumatic experiences, or something that may have like scarred your soul. For one, I'm just gonna say, like, I don't view anything as life, like in my reality, as a traumatic experience, because anything that I've been through, I've got through. So I've never looked at things like, oh, I'm traumatized, or da-da-da. You know, I never seen it as that even back then, but there was things that I didn't know was subconsciously bothering me, you know what I'm saying? And every time I stepped up to the podium, I would relive the traumatic experience, and I would see it for what it was. I would come to terms with it and I would let it go. And then I would come back from the podium. And when I did that, what would happen is I would go to the next traumatic experience. And it was about 4 or 5 events. No, it was 5 to be precise. It was 5 events that I went through. And as that is happening on earth in the physical plane, I can feel, even while I'm asleep, I'm aware of it, the shrooms in my stomach, they're like jumping, literally, like I could feel my stomach like rumbling. Like, it's an unexplainable feeling because you would have to experience it, such as this whole experience that I'm talking about right now. But just to give you a, like, you know, try to have you relate to it, it was like jumping motions in my stomach, and it didn't stop. Like, the whole time that I was going through, like, you know, that whole releasing of all the traumatic experiences or sadness in my life, it was going on the whole time. And so finally the dream was over and it was morning time, and I got up and oh my God, I felt like a little kid again, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a sense of I felt like free, like my joints were free, my body was free, my mind was free. All the sadness has purged, all the stress, all the constrictions. Sometimes we don't notice that there's stress in our face, the way we hold our face, whether you have decay in your mouth, things of that sort, your reinfect jewelry, anything can cause your body to stress. And because you're so used to that stress, it may not be something that you're aware of until you have an experience like this. So when I got up, I could feel all the drainage of sorrow just go all the way down my body. And when I got up, it was a drop of blood, maybe this big. It wasn't solid, but it was like, when it came out of me, I thought it was a solid. I was like, what the hell? So yeah, like, I had purged a little bit of blood. Like, it was like a blood clot. I don't want to call it a clot. It was like a ball, but when it came out, it was like liquid. I had purged that, and I could feel all the sorrow, all the hurt, all the anger, all the confusion. It left. I was free again to start over, to be reborn, to be aware of what I'm doing to my body and how I'm handling things and all of the above, you know what I'm saying? So it was a beautiful experience. I felt nothing but like joy when I woke up, and clarity, and like, damn, I'm starting over, you know what I'm saying? I'm a new being. I'm a new fucking soul. Like, in a sense of, I renewed myself back to the spiritual state on this physical plane. And when just from there, like everything came clearly. Like I've always been an intuitive being, but when I woke up, I really felt like, wow, you know, the universe brought that to me because I needed that. I just turned 18, and all the things that I've experienced in my childhood, I can finally let go so that I can begin a new life, beginning right. And yeah, it was great, man. I had just been through a really rough time in my life, and it was like I needed that. I needed that love. I needed that clarity. I needed that soul connection. I needed to renew myself spiritually, and that was the tool that helped me. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't be more thankful for what I've experienced with shrooms. Honestly, mushrooms, truffles, both. And I've tried things like LSD and, you know, man-made things. Nothing compares to nature. And that's what shrooms have taught me so many times. That's my first shroom experience, you know what I'm saying? It was a life-changing experience, and all I can really say is, like, each time I've done it is different. Every shroom has their own personality, their own meaning and teaching that they have to give you, and I'm so happy that Earth gave us this tool to get back to the soul realm, because sometimes it can be hard. But yeah, that was my experience. I have many more experiences to tell about. I won't tell about all of them because some of them are just for me, you know what I'm saying? But I do have an experience, a couple shroom trip experience with me and my soulmate, lover, partner, whatever you want to call him. And that was the most life-changing, spiritual, different dimension experience I've ever had. So I'm very excited to tell you guys about that, but I'm gonna wait till he's here. So yeah, that was that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as I stated, don't let anybody else's words or experiences taint the way you look at things, influence you to do anything. If it's for you, it will always be for you, and it will come to you. So that being that, you guys have a beautiful day. I'm out.